These winds have held up all day long, definitely playing a part in the shot making we're seeing out there today.
Oh, I liked that.
Frazier needed Muhammad Ali to solidify his legend. Jack Nicklaus probably needed Arnold Palmer to go to a place that he had not been. And I think that's true across the board as we look at rivalries in sports.
I think it defines careers, Rich. It's not until those players retire that they realized how important it was to have that foe. You know, so often we're living in the present like we are now with Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. And it's not for years to come that we'll realize the sport wouldn't have been the same with one without the other.
Oh, no, look out, Frank. I think he flushed that one.
Oh, this is going, gone.
So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. See if he does it here.
And he's made it onto the green now.
It's at sneaky distance.
Bit of a stumble out of the gates, Frank.
Oh, very shaky, very shaky. So he's got to pull himself together right now.
Not a gimme, but well within his range. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Well, that hurts. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Bit of a struggle early on at 3 over. Frank, you well know the U.S. Open is a thinking man's game, and this is a good example here, this short par 4 second hole.
It certainly is, Rich. It's not about length. It's not even about accuracy. It's about trying to pick the right shot, and the right shot is somehow finding that fairway between the left as it creeps in and the 6 bunkers on the right.
Pretty good drive here.
Another straight one. Oh, that's got to be 300 yards, isn't it?
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Frank, it hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
You wonder what he's thinking on that.
That's a head scratcher. No other way to put it. That close to the green and misses it badly to the right. Still not home yet, playing his fourth. This from 7 feet. So with that, 3 over par now for the round. Frank, this hole, the third at 428 yards, has been a part of the U.S. Open story for a long time, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, it's just a great par 4. It's a typical U.S. Open par 4 that challenges in between the ears, as well as the swing and the execution itself. The second shot, slightly uphill. You really got to break this green into 2 sections. That ridge in the middle, anything past that, everything funnels off and towards the back of the screen. Anything short of that, well, it actually goes towards the front side. So very difficult from tee all the way through to the green.
Should be pretty good right there. On the safe side. That is an excellent play right there. The approach, giving him another good look. Locked in on the read and the speed. Ooh, so close. Good try, just didn't quite read the break, Frank.
It shouldn't be a problem, you'd think, cleaning up here for par.
Been a little bit of a fight so far, 3 over par. Now to the par 5 fourth. It is 609 yards. Frank, this has been pivotal in past U.S. Opens.
Yeah, it certainly has. A good drive here, there's a chance to go for the par 5 and 2. A bad drive here, finding the church pews or the bunkers on the right. More often than not, you're pitching out sideways. Totally different proposition.
So that sets up a tougher second shot, missing the fairway with the drive, now in the rough. Second shot coming out of the rough here.
Well, Mr. Ball does not meet Mr. Fairway. It's off, rough.
Try up next. And it's a long way to the hole from here. Never easy. Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Been a little too much of that, Frank, just sort of ho-hum pars. Well, the good short par 4 has become standard at most modern U.S. Opens. Here's an example, Frank, 382-yard fifth.
Yeah, this is where you have to play the percentages. If you're going to play a hole 4 times, if I put myself in the fairway 4 times with a long iron, will I play the hole under par? That's the strategy here.
And that one lands in the first cut, Frank.
Interesting choice coming ahead here. It'll be interesting to see how he reads this lie.
Frank, not close, but from that line, not bad.
Oh, that's excellent. Seriously, given the conditions, Rich.
You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Can't make it, Frank, if you don't hit it.
Hubert Green once said, 99% of putts left short don't go in. I don't know what happened to the other 1%, but...
Hasn't been easy, but he'll take it. That's a par. 3 over for the day. Frank, what's the pros' take on the first par 3 here at Oakmont, the 6th, at just under 200 yards?
Oh, it's a real beauty. Very narrow in the front. You can see how it pinches in so close. It starts to widen up, but even to try and carry that bunker on the right side, there's very few players in the world that could hit it that high and manage to stop the ball in that corner. Once again, you're trying to thread it through that avenue at the front of this green. It's a tough par 3.
Don't want to miss it right here.
No.
Yet again, in the bunker off the tee. Been this way all day. Airtight, no mistakes, solid shot.
And yet another green in regulation.
So frustrating sometimes on the greens, isn't it? Drop shot here at the 6th. Just a tap in to finish the hole. And he makes it for a bogey here. Frank, the 7th here at Oakmont at 434 yards looks like your prototypical U.S. Open hole in that it requires some accuracy off the tee.
It does, and the bunkers are exactly where you would like to hit it, that sort of awkward distance. So if you want to challenge this hole off the tee, you're going to bring the 5 bunkers into play, the 2 on the left and the 3 on the right.
Wow, that is a monster drive down there, about 315 yards.
And this one just starts right of the flag.
He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try. Always 2 components to the long lag putt, the speed, number 1, and then the read. And missed out on that second part. Been a rocky road to this point. 4 over par on the round. U.S. Opens, Frank, as you well know, you've played in so many of them, are supposed to be demanding and tough. This is what a U.S. Open's all about. A par 3 at nearly 300 yards. That's the 8th at Oakmont.
It's not just the length too, but this is a typical Oakmont green, which means it's not easy. There is an option though, if you can't reach this green or at least fly it on, you might get a lucky bounce to kick forward. You'll see a lot of people chipping from around the front edge of this green, and there's no shame in that.
Second shot from the rough. It's on the way. And getting ready for the putt. All right, hanging in. That's a par and 4 over. And now to the 9th, and in case a player has forgotten somehow that he's at a U.S. Open, the ninth will remind him very quickly that this is the national championship. This is demanding. Wayward from the tee, and this one is headed for the rough, Frank. 190-yard shot now. Frank, when we think about a U.S. Open, you can go back as recently as 2013, Justin Rose at Merion. And why did that final hole sort of best exemplify what it takes to win a U.S. Open?
Because I think when you looked at the way in which Justin Rose not only played the closing stretch, but just that final hole, two great shots, and you still don't putt for birdie. If anything, you've got to work, you've got to grind so hard with a utility club and a putt just to make a four. That's going to be good enough to win an Open Championship. We live in a day of instant gratification, and a U.S. Open is far, far from that. I mean, this skill, and that was sublime.
Just good hands, coming out of the rough, able to manage the distance, and now in great position. Well, you can see the golfer is just boiling right now after that miss. And a drop shot here at the ninth. Just a couple of feet. Frank, this is just an embarrassing performance.
There's no crying in golf, Rich.
Frank, the nice thing about golf is that if you struggle on that front side, you can take a breath and you can regroup and you can get something going on the back nine.
During a round of golf, there's so many little things you can do, especially when you're a little awry. Check the ball position. Maybe you're starting to focus too much on swing rather than actually the shots in hand.
In the fairway here at the 10th, nice way to start off the back nine. Frank, downhill shot here. Will he have to take it just a little bit easier?
Yeah, be careful with the ball position as well. If you play the ball too far forward and try and scoop it, it's not going to work.
Another good swing, and it looks like, Frank, another really good shot. You can't hide the flagstick from that man.
He is just unbelievable, that never deviated offline.
Thank you at last. A birdie. That was a long time coming, Frank.
Yeah, finally he strung some shots together. Now, if all of a sudden he can do the same on the next hole, he might just get a run going.
You can see a little bit off balance on the tee, and that one is going to be in the rough. In the thick stuff.
Thick? It's brutal out there.
I'm thinking about 90 yards from here. Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
That's still not done. A good third shot. Maybe get away here with par.
Getting set for this next shot from the rough. What does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are because, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing.
And he's made the green. Settles in over the putt. So not his best work. He'll walk away with a bogey. Now at the par 5, 12, 667 yards. Frank, you've played golf around the world at the very highest level. I've heard you say you think this is one of the hardest par 5s on the planet. Why?
The slope of the fairway, you don't get a flat lie anywhere along that, and the green slopes away from you. So really there's no easy out. This is the only par 5 I've ever seen where the best players in the world would take a 5.
Nice position, short grass, second shot. That one ends up in the rough.
Oh, that went sideways.
And setting up here in the rough. On the green in regulation. Just 5 feet left. Can't get them all back at once, but does go in the right direction. Now at +4. Pushing our way into this back 9, we arrive at the par 3 13th. It's 183 yards. No problems there. Really good approach shot. And now, good looking birdie. Frank, I don't recognize this guy right now.
Yeah, that ship was sinking, but it looks like he's an excellent chance right now to right the ship.
Wow, I thought he made that. Well, that would have been a bonus had it gone in, but still, reasonable chance for par here.
Yeah, there's no damage. You're not going to birdie every hole. Whoa, that was unexplainable. Thought that was easily going to be a par.
Now we'll have to focus, try to make bogey. This would be a good time to reverse the slide. 5 over par on the deck. Well, the reason Oakmont has hosted so many U.S. Opens, Frank, as you well know, is it has a really good blend of holes. And now we come to a short par 4 at 358 yards, the 14th.
You can see the predicament in front of you, bunkers left and right, but really the bonus here is if you can get the ball on the fairway with just something like a long on off the tee, this is one of your best scoring opportunities at Oakmont.
Well, he pays a price for that.
Yeah, when you don't see the top of the ball in the rough, you know it's not sitting pretty. You'll need a bit of force to extract one out of there. Second shot.
So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. See if he does it here. Oh, that was solid, Rich. This one's safely on.
You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Well, too bad. He gives one back. Well, how about this hole, Frank? 499-yard, par 4 15th. All you want.
Oh, that's for sure. The church pews down the left. It's about 340 yards to get all the way past them, so that's not really an option. Bunkers down the right side, really, they tell you, you've got to somehow hit something in between both of those. And the reason why it's another fairway you want to hit is a long second shot. It's a little uphill to a green that, well, just like all the others, is going to take something special.
Frank, obviously way too much club there.
You've got to think something like that, or at least misread the wind. This is never going to sit down.
Frank, it hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
Yeah, you wonder what he was thinking on that.
Coming out of the rough and right up next to the hole. Get in. Yes, good putt. Frank, this is a point in the round where you really need to summon your best stuff. Par 3 of 231 yards. You know the pressure's building. We're at the 16th hole. And you have a long iron in hand. You can't flinch. You can't take it halfway back and go. This has to be the complete swing, and you have to really have the nerve on this shot.
Yeah, this shot has to be hitting right out of the button, that's for sure. One thing to consider, though, in the back of your mind, it's always better putting back uphill. Well, uphill is actually from the back of this green. So you actually can be a little braver on 16 than what you might think standing on that tee, because a little long is better than a little short.
Frank, that looked good to me. And it looks like it's in the rough there, Frank.
It might not be as bad as it looks.
Ball sitting down here in the rough. He's digging in. Hard to be perfect in this game. That's a bogey. We are coming down to the wire here at the U.S. Open Championship at fabled Oakmont, and the tension's starting to build. And Frank, this is decision time at this very short 313-yard par 4.
And normally in a U.S. Open, Rich, you'd think the prudent play would be lay it up, but I kind of like driver here today. I think the worst you're going to do is just miss the green or hit it one of those pop bunkers. You perhaps could drive it on the green, be putting for eagle, but even out of one of those bunkers, you've got to think you're even money to get it up and down. I like driver here.
Yet again, in the bunker off the tee. All right, so greenside bunker. What's he looking to do with this shot, Frank?
Well, really you have to look at the amount of green you got to play with. You don't have to try and fly the ball right by the flag. Allow it to run. Plus, if you can get it to run like a putt, you never know. It might just go in.
Great shot coming out of that bunker right there.
Showing some skills today.
Came to the putt, excited to make birdie. Now, settle for par.
Yeah, a little change in the attitude right now. You've let one go. You've got to really knuckle down there.
Frank, that's a par, and onward we go. Here we are at the 18th at Oakmont. Clubhouse straight ahead. Frank, I distinctly remember the 2007 U.S. Open Championship of the final round, and Angel Cabrera, the big Argentinian, with the pressure bearing down, stepped up and absolutely piped a tee shot right down the throat. And I know to this day he thinks it's one of the great shots he's ever hit.
Yeah, I get the odds. Golf ball is 1.68 inches in diameter. Fairway's 30 yards wide. Ball should fit easily, right? But when you look at it off the back of this tee with bunkers left and right, it does not look like it's that easy, that's for sure.
Frank, he is one of the longest hitters in the game, but at some point you have to hit a fairway.
Yeah, he's certainly not the straightest. I think that was the bit you're going to put in the middle.
So from the rough back to the fairway, that's the right way to go.
Yeah, didn't take the bait. And at least now he's only going to play the price of a poor tee shot. Still got a good chance, though, getting away with par.
Nice approach shot. He'll be happy with that. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. That's how you maintain momentum. Make those putts for par. Well, that'll do it for today. Not a great performance, not on the first page of that leaderboard.
Yeah, the people on the top of this leaderboard are there for a reason. They hit more fairways, more greens. It sounds easy, and I know this is a difficult course, but that's the way it's going to have to be played.